Bishop Robinson, is this your first time at the Supreme Court on one of these days?
No, it isn't, although this is one of the more beautiful days. I was here, of course, when the oral arguments were taking place for the so-called Defense of Marriage Act, and I'm really hoping today turns out as well as that day did.
What is your sense of how the landscape has changed both broadly politically but also within Christianity?
You know, it really boggles the mind how far we've come in such a short period of time. You know, I grew up in the 1950s when just the thought of people who were gay, lesbian, bisexual, or transgender living their lives openly and proudly, that was a stretch to even think such a thing would be possible. And we didn't ever consider two people of the same sex being married. It was just so impossible as to really be unthinkable. And we have seen just this enormous shift, both in the secular culture and in the church, the synagogue, the mosque. And really those have mirrored each other, so that, you know, at this point, we not only have 61% of the American population who favors gay marriage, but we see a majority in virtually every demographic of religious groups. Their hierarchy don't necessarily go along with that, but the people in the pews do. And the reason we are where we are is that so many of us have come out. And whereas 20 years ago most people would have told you they didn't know anyone openly gay, now there's hardly a family left that doesn't know some family member, a co-worker, a next-door neighbor, or a former classmate to be gay, lesbian, bisexual, or transgender. And that knowing someone has made all the difference.
It seems like marriage very well could be determined in a positive way in the next couple of months with the Supreme Court. Beyond marriage, what is in your heart and in your mind of concern, particularly thinking about what's happening in Baltimore, not far from here right now? What issues, particularly issues of economic justice, still face the LGBT community?
Let me answer that in two different ways. There will be a lot left to do around LGBT rights, and particularly for transgender people. We literally have this bizarre state of affairs now where you can be legally married as two people of the same gender on Sunday and be fired for it on Monday by your boss without any recourse in the courts. So we don't have the kinds of job protections and security, public accommodation, those kinds of things, and we still have to work for that. At the same time, it is my fervent hope that the LGBT movement will understand that we are one part of a much larger effort for justice and equality. You know, as we gather here today, Black Lives Matter in Baltimore, and there are people marching there for racial justice. It just seems every week we have yet another young, unarmed black man killed, sometimes for absolutely no reason at all. And I think we will know that our movement, as the LGBT movement, will have matured when we care as much about race and gender and immigration status and those kinds of things as we do our own movement. Because ultimately we're all after justice, and rather than fighting each other for time and attention and money, we should be helping one another. And that, if that happens, this will really be something to be proud of.